and welcome everybody to Divine Thursday. Today is May 14th, 2020, and I am your host, DM Gallibond. And today we are going to be talking about a clerical spell called Death Ward. As always, we will get started by looking at the spell in 5th edition. Alright, so in 5th edition, Death Ward is a 4th level spell, casting time of 1 action, range of touch, verbal and somatic, and it lasts for 8 hours. So it's not a spell you need to cast in combat. It can be cast well before combat. And it's available to clerics, paladins, life domain, death domain, grave domain, and the Undying, which is one of the patrons, I believe for the Warlock is the Undying, and the Alchemist class gains access to this particular spell as well. And basically you touch a creature, and then the first time in the next 8 hours that creature would fall below 0, they instead fall to 1 hit point, and the spell ends. And that can be either from damage that would take the creature below 0 hit points, or it can be an effect that would just outright kill the creature without dealing hit point damage. Now, there are a few rare spells out there and conditions and abilities that some monsters have where it just simply will kill the creature. I think, for instance, Power Word Kill is one where if the creature's total hit point is under a certain threshold, it just dies. It doesn't deal hit point damage, it just kills the creature. And in that instance, if that creature had Death Ward on it, the spell would simply not have any effect, and the Death Ward would end. So you would force your enemy to use a very high-level spell slot and not really get anything for it. Now, of course, once the Death Ward wears off, if the target takes subsequent damage, that can, of course, go on and kill them. Alright, well, Death Ward has been around since 3rd edition, and it's worked very similarly. So the subject is immune in 3rd edition, is immune to all death spells, magical death effects, energy drain, and any negative energy effects such as from inflict spells or chill touch. It doesn't remove negative levels that the subject has already gained, nor does it affect the saving throw necessary 24 hours after gaining a negative level. So Death Ward does not protect against other sorts of attacks, such as hit point loss, poison, or petrification, or even those attacks might be lethal. So in 3rd edition, it would not stop you from getting killed by being hacked to death by an enemy, but it would stop you from being killed by negative spells. And the duration is 1 minute per level, so that is a kind of spell that you would cast in melee, as opposed to something like the 5th edition Death Ward that you could cast at the beginning of the day, and it would be good for the entire adventuring day. And then in 4th edition, Death Ward shows up again. This time it shows up as a paladin utility power at level 16. And in this case, it is a melee touch spell. So it happens in combat, and you touch a dying creature and share some of your divine inner light, bestowing upon the recipient the power to resist the call of death. So a dying creature is any creature that has fallen to 0 and is now making death saves. So this is not a proactive spell, this is a reactive spell. And you spend a healing surge, but regain no hit points yourself. Instead, the target regains hit points as if it had spent 2 healing surges. And add your charisma modifier to the hit points regained. So in 4th edition, a healing surge was a mechanic that would allow you to regain a quarter of your hit points. So if you had 20 hit points total, a healing surge would give you 5 hit points. And so what they're saying is by touching this person, you're going to put them back at half of their normal full health, which is pretty good. The 5th edition version of Death Ward simply stops you from falling to 0. It You take damage and it stops you at 1 hit point. But that means that if something else attacks you right away and hits you, you're probably going to go down anyway. This would let you go down first, but then would bring you back up to half of your total. And if you have a lot of hit points, well then, you might be in pretty good shape at that point. All right, so that is going to do it for our look at the Death Ward spell. And if you like what we are doing here on this channel, it would be great if you could hit the subscribe button down over there, over there. Whoops, over there. Yes, over on that side of the screen. Not on that side of the screen, on that side of the screen. And then you can also ring the bell if you want to get notified every time we put a new video up. Keep in mind that every day of the week I do new videos on different aspects of D&D, and 3 times a week over on my Twitch channel, which you can find that information down in the description. I do live streams Thursday night and Sunday afternoon. I live stream games that I host as a DM, and on Monday I live stream a discussion of a particular D&D monster. If you have any questions about Death Ward, or if you have a neat story about how you used it in a game that you were playing, or if you're a DM, you have a story about a player that used it creatively in a game that you are running, put that down in the comments. It'd be pretty cool to see that. And if you have any questions about this spell, or questions about other spells or spell you'd like to learn more about, let me know so that I can put it into a future video. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me. Take care, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, be back here tomorrow for Lore Friday. All right, good night, everybody.